Switzerland, and this is our second week in Europe. We've been having a wonderful time, and we've gone through a couple different countries now. So we started in Barcelona, Spain, and then headed south down to Portugal, which was wonderful. And then we went to Paris, and now we're making our way through Switzerland, and it has been beautiful. We've had lots of different terrain, so we've seen flatlands of like France when we were going through the countryside, and then these beautiful mountains that are behind me as well. And then we've also been in big cities like Barcelona and Paris, and then in wonderful countrysides as well. And I've noticed something that wherever we've gone has happened. It's a little normal or unusual for a big trip for me to focus on something like this, but it's just real, so let me just be real. Anyway, so we'd be walking around, and regardless of where it was, we could be in a city or we could be on a trail, and suddenly out of nowhere you would smell this really horrible odor that came out of nowhere, and you're like, what is that? That's so funky. Whether you're in a big crowd and then suddenly like someone must have like crop dusted the place and just walked through like and just made this place smell horrible, and then you start like making accusations in your brain. I bet it was that guy, he looks stinky, or whatever it was. Or if we were, on a hiking trail and then suddenly there's roses and beautiful daisies everywhere, but you just smell this horrible stink, and you're like, what horse just came in here and dropped a load? And it just is really horrible. And so we noticed that it could be a beautiful day, and then suddenly when the smell came, you're just completely distracted. That's all that you smell and all that you're thinking about. And it's very easy to stop thinking about this beautiful cathedral when suddenly you smell this nasty odor. And as I began to think about that, I realized that that same thing happens with our thinking. We can be having a normal day, and then somebody can say something or give you an attitude, or a circumstance can happen, and even though the day was going well, even though you have people in your life that love you, even though you can even be healthy on that day, it can suddenly change everything. It can change the atmosphere and the fragrance of your life and of your thinking, and you can suddenly go from just wonderful good day to just like, oh, who was that? Why did they say that? And just begin to play it over and over and over in our mind. And what we need to do is the same thing that you do whenever you smell something that's funky. You flush it, you get rid of that turd, you scoop the poop and you chunk it, and you just get it out of there. And we need to take that same thinking and put it into our lives, regardless of what the circumstance is. In Philippians 4:8, the Bible says to think on whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are noble, whatsoever things are praiseworthy and of virtue and of good report, to cause our mind to think on those things. I call that the flush test. If it's not those things, if it's not true, if it's not praiseworthy, if it's not virtuous, then you don't have any business in my mind, and you need to be chunked out of here. If you're just pilau or hanas, how we see in Hawaii, then you know what? You don't belong inside of my mind. You're being evicted. You don't have any time or space taking up occupancy inside of my thought process. And that's how we need to think about things. And I know I'm saying this, but when the thought comes, it's a lot harder to just get rid of. And I don't have the perfect life. I don't just bounce around happy-go-lucky all the time. Tough things happen, and as beautiful as it's been overall in our trips and our adventures in Europe, there have been some tough things. Everywhere in the world, you have people with attitudes, you have prejudices and racisms and things that people have hang-ups on. And the other day, we were taking a train in Switzerland from one location to another, and it was gorgeous. We went through tunnels, and then we'd come out, and the moment we came out, there would be these gigantic, enormous mountains with just like waterfalls streaming everywhere, and the sun was shining, the skies were blue. And in our area that we were in the train, we were going back and forth with the family next to us, running across the train, just taking pictures and videos and having a great time. And I got up against a window to just get some footage on my camera and to look at it. And then suddenly I feel this push, and I think, oh no, it's just crowded. So I just try to move and give some space. And then out of nowhere, this lady just comes and she slams me against the wall. I'm just shocked about what's happening. She starts yelling in my face in German. I can't understand what she's saying, but she has this disgusted and hateful look on side of her face, and that quickly my day just went from way up high to way down low because I felt violated. I didn't feel safe. I was really embarrassed. I was the only one of my nationality or background on the train. It drew attention to me. The people I was riding with, not all of them saw it, and it just smashed me. I just felt so bad in just a minute, that quickly. And I went to my seat and I was trying to control myself. I didn't want to draw attention to myself, so I just kind of hid my face and I had my big glasses on, and it was really hard. And I just wanted to stay there. Suddenly, all the wonderful feelings I had were just gone. They just ran away. And heaviness and embarrassment and sadness and anger that this had happened all filled me and tried to take over. And in that time, as I was sitting there, I had to think about this. I had to think about this flesh test. Is this pure? Is this noble? Is this praiseworthy? Well, then you do not belong inside of my mind. And I had to become stubborn in a good way, and indignant. You do not belong in my mind. You do not belong in my thoughts. And I'm not going to allow this woman and this circumstance and this hate to control the rest of my day, to control my attitude, and to completely control and change my circumstance. I'm deciding that I'm going to have a good day. I'm deciding that situation gets flushed. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing, because we spend way too much time anxious and frustrated about things that do not belong in our lives. You can decide today, flush that mess, chunk it, get rid of it, evict it out of your mind, because there's so many wonderful, pure, true, noble things that can be in your heart, be in your mind, and be in your spirit, and determine where you're going. You choose today. Have a great day, guys.